everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can pass the WGU observations for student teaching. Now, I did a video about student teaching, what you can expect at WGU, and a little bit more about those observations. And I'll post the link down below if you're interested in watching that one, because it kind of goes more into depth about the requirements and what you can expect from doing the observations themselves. But today I'm going to be talking about how you can actually pass them. And this is really important for you to do student teaching at WGU. Before I get started, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Best tips I have for you before your observation, so before you even teaching and doing instruction in the classroom, you're first going to want to practice before you actually teach to the entire class. This is actually a communication tip that I learned and did really well on, and I always like to practice before I actually teach to my students. I feel like once you become a full-time teacher, you'll get more in the hang of it and you won't need to practice anymore, especially when you teach the same things year after year. But for me especially, I personally like to practice beforehand because then I can decide how it sounds. Do I need to change what I'm saying? Practice and get prepared to tackle hard questions or confusion by students or students' mistakes. Really get to understand how much you know, how much you're ready before you actually go into the observation. With your mentor teacher and your CS advisor, I highly recommend that you look over instructional strategies and what you're going to be using for your lesson plan. Think about classroom management. You may have to actually use some of them, so use the ones that are already set in place in the classroom itself. Make sure you might have some extra strategies to go along with that. Make sure you organize your materials. I also like to create a lesson outline of my lesson plan. And what that means is I like to create what I expect to bring to my instruction. So for example, when I activate my prior knowledge, I list questions and things that we're going to discuss and kind of talk about. When I'm talking about the new information, how am I going to present this to the kids? What kinds of questions, activities are we going to do? Things like that. So I pull from my lesson plan and create a little outline, and I bring that outline with me to be able to teach. You're not expected to memorize everything. It is okay if you have an outline with you. I've even seen skilled teachers read from notes from time to time when they're teaching. You don't want to be directly looking at the page, and that's why I say practice with your outline, because you kind of want to have it a little bit memorized before you go into it. But it's okay to have some sort of outline or notes with you as you teach. Make sure you know a lot about the subject topic. One of my minor mistakes that I've kind of learned as an educator is to make sure that you don't just know the bare minimum. For example, if you're given a curriculum overview kind of book about the subject that you're going to teach, and they don't really go into detail about it, do some research for yourself. Make sure you're fully prepared in case kids are just unable to grasp the concepts and the book, the curriculum book, isn't helping. So you have to go the extra mile. Make sure you really know the subject at hand. And last but not least, maybe use some specific strategies that your mentor teacher or your CS has kind of talked to you about that you really want to implement. Or maybe you've learned from a previous observation that you really want to implement in this lesson. Do those. For the day of your observation, get there early. If you haven't already started to do that when you're student teaching, try and do that every day. But get there early, kind of set up, kind of rehearse a little bit more, a little bit of practice. Make sure you really got, your lesson outline down and everything. Refer to your lesson outline notes throughout. Implement what you've practiced, and make sure you use all those strategies, classroom management, instructional, engagement strategies, any other strategies that your CS or mentor teacher have kind of talked to you about. Be willing to be flexible and adjust your instruction based on students' responses. Something that I really learned through my observations is that It's okay to modify your pacing when it comes to the content and material and concepts, because if students are struggling in between, you kind of want to tackle that before you move on to anything else. So it's okay to adjust your instruction as needed. And again, that's what your formative assessment is for as well. But you can always do some sort of little mental check every now and then, like thumbs up, thumbs down, before you go, especially if it's like a heavy concept that students may have trouble grasping too. You want to build learning through students' mistakes. So when you come across a mistake, don't hide from it. Don't freak out. I froze the first times. Don't do that. Just take a deep breath and remember the stuff that you've practiced. Refer to your outline notes. Kind of build on what students are saying. As an educator, sometimes you just have to be flexible and kind of roll with the punches that you're given. So, based on students' responses and their learning mistakes, that's really where the learning comes through. And that's really what you want to tap into when you're teaching. Take all the constructive feedback that they give you. This is really important because it'll help you to reflect and revise for the next observation that you may have, or for your entire teaching journey if this is like your last observation. Discuss new strategies. Really discuss how your lesson and observation went with your support team. Maintain a positive growth mindset because that is so crucial. As an educator, you have to be willing to be flexible, take constructive feedback, and have a growth mindset. Just remember, you're still learning. I mean, even as a new teacher, you're going to still be learning. So it's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them and kind of grow with them, you're doing just fine. And last but not least, have like an action plan to help you really get ready and move on to the next observation or the next part of your teaching journey. Really take what you learned with you. When it comes to observations for WGU, don't be afraid to ask for help. You're still learning. That is a key thing. Don't beat yourself up when you make mistakes. As I said, just listen to experienced educators around you, and it'll really help you to create your own personal teaching style. I really hope this video helps you. I do have a free observational WGU checklist for you down below if you're interested. Basically talked about everything that we talked about in this video and much more. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting me and my channel, and I will see you all again soon. Bye, everyone.